Hello YouTube, my name is Isabella and today I'm going to be doing the good old Booktube standard, Booktube classic, and that is the mid-year book freakout tag. So let's get started. I swear this must be my fourth time, I think, doing this video, and I do it every year. I love it. It's great to reflect and then also look kind of into the future and see what things you might want to change and fix up a little bit. I love this video. I love watching it. I love filming it. The creators, Chammy and Ellie, are both going to be linked down in the description. So I have read, I think, around 65, 66 books so far this year. A good 8 to 10 of them have been rereads, but my reading has, I think the most I've ever read in a 6-month period, but that also is helped by the fact that I've been in lockdown twice over the past 6 months. So I'm interested to see how reading will go. I think for the most part I have enjoyed a lot, and the vast majority of the stuff I have read. I haven't fallen in love with as many books as I would have liked, but definitely have liked a great majority of them. And anyway, let's just get into the video. Question 1 asks, what is the best book you've read in 2021? And I'm torn, I'm caught between 2, so I'm going to say 1 now and then 1 for the next question. And I'm picking Realm of Ash by Tasha Suri. I fell in love with this book, head over heels with this book. I loved it so much. This is the sequel and companion to Empire of Sand. I have a review for this if you're interested on my thoughts as to why I love it. I think it's just written beautifully. I love the characters. I love the plot, the balance between the political and sort of the quest-like aspects. I love how everything came together and wrapped up, and it made me quite emotional. I love this book. It is definitely one of the best I've read in 2020. 2021, but I haven't quite figured out what's the absolute fave as of yet. The next question asks the best sequel you've read so far, and without a doubt it is Jade War by Fonda Lee. This also is tied for best book of the year so far. I loved it. I also have a review for this one if you're interested. As a sequel specifically, it takes all the good from Jade City and just expands and multiplies upon how good the first book was. This one is so much better. It is such an elevation. I love this book. This might be my favorite of the year. I'm still deciding, but absolutely love this book. Also, Blood Witch by Susan Dennard. This is the 3rd book in the Truth Witch series, and I absolutely loved it. I read it a month ago, 2 months ago, don't remember, and still have not yet managed to post my review, but I'm working on it. I think this book has elevated, again, how great the first 2 were, but a lot of things really came together. It was a really satisfying arc for certain characters over the 3 books. I'm looking forward to the final 2. I only just found out that it's actually only a 5-book series. It's a 6-book series with the novella, but I thought there were 3 more entries coming into the series, but there's only 2, and I'm a little sad about that. But this book was pretty freaking epic. There's a lot of payoff. I love the character development, and I can't wait to read more in this world. The next question is very fitting, and it asks a new release that you have not yet read and want to, and Witch Shadow by Susan Dennard. I don't think more can be said. I loved Blood Witch. I've been loving this series so much, and I cannot wait to see where it goes from there. Even the few reviews of people who have already read it or just completed it are absolutely raving about it, and I'm just excited to see where the characters go from here. Can't wait. I'm excited, and I will read this as soon as I post my goddamn review for Blood Witch, so it's all on me at this point. Our next question asks your most anticipated release for the second half of the year. And I feel like a broken record saying that, but it could be just because literally last night I was editing my most anticipated releases for the second half of the year, but it's none other than Jade Legacy by Fonda Lee. Are we shocked? Jade War currently is my favorite, or tied for my favorite book of the year, so yeah, Jade Legacy, cannot wait for that to come out. So, biggest disappointment. There have been a couple. I have enjoyed a vast majority of the books that I have read this year. Not loved everything, but like enjoyment wise, it's been great so far. However, there have been some disappointments, namely The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. This is Wheel of Time book 1, and I didn't go into it with crazy high expectations, and it still managed to disappoint me. I didn't end up loving it. I have a review and discussion on it if you're interested as to why. I also was incredibly disappointed with We Free the Stars by Hafsa Faizal. I made a point to reread the first book, which is We Hunt the Flame, which I didn't love when I first read it, but I wanted to give it another chance because I didn't think I was in the right headspace when I was reading it, and I liked it a lot more, so I had hopes for the sequel, and it still managed to let me down. It's just not my favorite manner of storytelling, and the direction of the story just didn't quite work for me. There was a lot of plot things that were pretty dumb, and then there were certain things that weren't getting addressed, like at the beginning of the story, that I thought was really strange. And then we also had characters acting ridiculous up until like the last possible second, and it just honestly didn't seem like, it seemed out of character the way the characters were acting just to continue on certain like angsty beats, and I was pretty disappointed that I didn't like it. It's quite a bummer. Biggest surprises. There are two, and both of them are like different reasons. Definitely the biggest surprise though of the year so far has been Rule of Wolves by Leigh Bardugo. And I say this because I pretty much didn't like King of Scars. I think I gave it 3 or 3.5 stars, which was pretty generous considering I was really let down by the story. I didn't like the characters, didn't like the plot. I was really annoyed by some reveals that happened at the end of that book. And I just, was pretty unimpressed with King of Scars. And so it's a shock to me that I really enjoyed Rule of Wolves. I do have a lot of problems with it as well, as I normally do. And I have a review for it if you're interested as to why. But I liked the political maneuvering a lot more in this one, and the way a lot of things came together at the end really I found fairly satisfying. So I'm surprised by how much I liked it, but I'm not complaining. I really enjoyed this book. The other surprise so far in 2021 has got to be You Bring the Distant Near by Maitali Perkins. It's a surprise to me because I gave this book 5 stars, and it's a young adult generational coming of age story. I had a feeling I was really going to like it. I still love coming of age and exploring all the topics that come with it, but the way this book was told I think was fantastic. The development between all of the characters, having it be multi-generational so you see them in different stages of their lives too. I'm honestly shocked that they didn't try and sell this book in literary fiction or as like an adult novel, because I definitely think it could have. I want more people to pick this up. If you do love contemporaries, I think this book is phenomenal. I love it. The next question I really only have one response for because I find it very difficult to answer, but it asks favorite new author, either new to you or a debut. And honestly, a lot of the books I've read this year have been like continuations or from authors I've already read before. The one notable exception and book I love and book that is a debut is Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. I think Tracy Deonn is a phenomenal writer, and this is only her debut. I was struck by her quality of writing literally in the prologue, so I enjoyed the ride that was this book so much. Also have a review for this one. Look at me, I am doing so great with reviewing so far this year, but I absolutely love Tracy Deonn's quality of writing. Her storytelling, her characters were great, and I think about this book all the time, and it kills me there's no word on the sequel yet. It hurts. I am skipping this next question. I have been for the past bit, and that's newest fictional crush. I don't get crushes on fictional characters anymore. I find this next question hard to answer because it takes a lot for me to give this title, but it's asking your newest favorite character. It usually takes me up until read number 2, or at least multiple entries into a series, for me to give this moniker, and I have come up with 2 women though that I love so much, and I can't wait to see their continuations of their stories when we get their sequels. The first being Priya from the Jasmine Throne. She's one of the main two perspective characters we get, and I just love her. She is such an interesting take on a character in like an adult fantasy, because she doesn't have the most like political savvy or acumen. She kind of really struggles with that, but she really wants to do what's right by her people. So I just like love Priya so much. I think about her often. I also really love Bree. I love Bree, again from Legendborn. She is our main character, and she is such an interesting character because she is so dynamic, but also going through a lot of difficult things. She lost her mother and is experiencing a lot of grief, and she's like kind of wizened beyond her years because of that. But I absolutely love Bree. I think she's a fantastic main character. So for a book that made you cry, I was initially going to answer with something else. That one I didn't actually even cry in, just sort of teared up, but I couldn't think of anything until I was planning this video, and I remembered that I cried during another book, and that was Realm of Ash. When we got to the end point, your girl started sobbing. There was a lot of payoff in the finale here that just felt so earned, and I just loved the ending and was overcome by a lot of emotion. It was emotional for the characters, emotional for me, and so I cried. For a book that made me happy, I had to choose One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. I honestly just finished this a little while ago, and it brought me such joy. This isn't a perfect book for me, but you'll hear about that in my wrap-up. Ending of the story made me very happy. I also cried during this because it was just very touching. I also was really like touched by and made very happy by like the author's note at the end, and I don't think I'll ever get tired of reading about and witnessing women in love. For the most beautiful books I've purchased this year, I was struggling to come up with something because hadn't bought any real book boxes like this year. Nothing's really come in yet. There's a box I'm waiting for, still waiting for it, and people are getting it, but I don't have it yet, so I can't use this as an answer. And then I forgot that there actually was a set of books that I got as special editions, and they're beautiful. And that's Days of Blood and Starlight and Dreams of Gods and Monsters by Laini Taylor. Are we shocked that it's a special edition that I own that's by Laini Taylor? As a note, the other box I'm currently waiting on are more special editions of Strange the Dreamer. These were Illumicrate editions. I bought these actually like technically last year, but they only shipped this year, and I'm just so happy by them. The sprayed edges are lovely. I love how striking these covers are. I love them, and I'm very glad like my set is completed now. I think they're just very pretty. The final question are, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? And honestly, there's no set books that I'm like I need to read other than my list of 20 for 2021. I've fallen a little behind on that, and it is definitely because I put some books on there that are out of my comfort zone. So I need to start working on that. I need to start working on it pretty quickly. I think I've only read currently 8 of the 20, so I'm behind. Other than that, there are some more books that I would like to read, but I've done a pretty good job so far in like working towards certain goals. I definitely need to read A Memory Called Empire by Arkady Martine. This is a sci-fi that I'm so looking forward to, and I was going to try and get to it in June, but just couldn't quite. I'm also really excited to get to Alatsaway by Darcy Littlebadger. I just keep forgetting I own it because I bought it kind of on a whim, but I need to read this book. I'm so excited by it, and it's so short too, but I'm desperate to read this. The most of the other books that I would like to complete are just to finish up some series, and the more I'm talking about all these books that I need to read and been thinking about this, I'm regretting already having filmed my July TBR. I would kind of like to switch some things up. There's so many books I want to get to and so little time. And I know we still have half the year left, but it feels like we're just running out of time. Oh, let me know down in the comments below what your biggest surprise of 2021 is, because it's always great when a book can surprise you. But as always, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye.